Carl here with Restoration Landscaping, and what I'm doing here is there's this bare spot right here in between these reader boards, the Mantino McDonald's, and this soil's not being used. Same on the other side, but that's a later project. So because these are 5 foot tall boards and bricks, that way, a little bit taller, and what I need to do to increase the pollinator friendly plants at this location is plant more native wildflowers. So because this is 5 foot tall, I decided to plant tall wildflowers, most of which tend to not be the right ones for a formal commercial landscaping, and plant them here. So here I planted this last year. These are biennial evening primroses. This here, I thought I had planted a few more of them. Maybe this was one? Yeah, this was one too. Then I planted tall bellflower. Then this here is decurrent false aster. Now, yeah, that's only 2.5 feet, but eventually, decurrent false aster will get 8, 9 feet tall. Maybe if I let it grow a single stalk, maybe it could get 10 feet tall. These biennial evening primroses, just like the tall bellflower, they can either be wide branched and be 3 foot tall, or they can be single trunked and be 10 foot tall. I put them here rather than here because that way south. So the ones closer to the wall are going to get less sun. Now, after I got those, because this is commercial landscaping, I can't really plant false sunflower or tall sunflower because they spread aggressively by, false sunflower spreads aggressively by seed, and tall sunflower spreads aggressively by rhizomes. Decurrent false aster spreads by rhizomes, but really close. It's not a long distance shooting one. So that's the only thing that I have to worry about. If I have an aggressive tall flower in here, it would seed up in formal flat flower beds outside of this walled area, or if rhizomes, they would go underneath the brick and move into other spots. But here I have this, because this store I'm going to concentrate on swallowtail butterflies. I have this root system of a sweet Joe Pye weed, an area that the plants were being removed. But I was going to put this in the formal bed because you can use Joe Pye weed in a formal landscaping if you have it a back or a centerpiece. But because it was sitting outside and got a little bit of heaving, the roots don't look too well. So I'm not going to bother dig through a rocked bed to plant a root system that might not make it. Because when you dig in a rocked bed, you got to have a tarp down and move the rocks aside. You got to cut it, and all that possible organic debris and dirt could end up on top of the rocks and weed barrier and end up more difficulty in weed control. But because this area here is not a lot of work to plant it, that way if it makes it, it's not too much. If it doesn't make it, it's not too much effort to replace it. But Joe Pye weed can get, this one can get 7 foot tall. So these flowers, once they get taller, can come up to the top. So ideally, people driving by or walking on the sidewalk will see the flowers at the top, but won't see the long, lanky looking stalks that mainstream people don't like when they think about wildflowers. And of course, things like dandelions, they'll barely make it here because they're very shade insensitive. But digging in here, pulling that out is not a big deal because also a lot of wind seeds have a little bit of a hard time getting in here. Of course, bone meal to increase the phosphorus. And then some mycorrhiza fertilizer, because a lot of times when I'm planting native flowers, especially ones that are the prairie savanna ones, I don't really want to add nitrogen because that's going to make them look tall, lanky, and fall over. But here it's fine because, the lankiness can't be seen.